Hey, I'm Kyle, and I'm going to show you how you can build a simple ArcGIS Pro processing tool using Cursor AI. So Cursor AI is a ground-up agentic AI code editor. It is modeled after VS Studio Code, and it's really good for GIS analysts and professionals to whip up a quick Python scripting tool for repetitive workflows or things that we do a whole lot. And the agent is a chat window that will perform actions for you, such as writing code. Um, and you can get it at cursor.com/download. So go ahead and go to that page and then select download for either Windows or whatever system you're on. And then once you've installed it, go ahead and open that, and this is what the interface looks like. So if you've used Visual Studio Code, you're familiar with this layout, except right, I have mine in dark mode. You have your file explorer over here, and then you have the same different tools such as the GitHub tool, and then you have extensions that you can download. And you have your chat window over here. So if you lose that window and you need to get it back, it's up here in the top of the chat bubble. So I can click toggle agent and it will come back. I don't have a agent right here. So I click new agent and that opens the chat. And what I didn't know before I used Cursor is that each agent is a chat, except you can do different things. So it defaults to agent mode, which actually does things, but there's several different modes here that you can choose from. And if you want to see your agents, you can hide or open this window by the toggle agents window. You will need to get a subscription to Cursor if you want to use it. You can also use Claude Code through here if you have that subscription, and you can get that through the extensions and search for Claude Code. You can see down here I'm using the Pro plan, so I have access to these LLMs, and Composer is the default LLM for Cursor, and then I also have access to ChatGPT, Sonnet, which is useful for most everyday coding tasks, and then Anthropic's model Opus, which Claude uses, and that one is really powerful and for more complex builds. For GIS Python tools, most of the time those are simple .py files or scripts, so you can get away with Composer, or really any of these are powerful enough for what we're doing. And you can also use the microphone if you want to speak to it directly. And I'll go over these different modes. So the ask mode is the safest one. It's not going to do anything to your code base or make any changes. You can ask it as many questions as you want, and if you get an API limit message, that means that one of the models you're on has reached its limit for the monthly chat limit for the month. So if that happens, you need to get a better account for that particular model, or just switch to Composer. It will switch you to Composer automatically if you reach that limit. So ask mode, you can brainstorm, you can ask it questions, you can say, hey, where is this part of my file that has this bug that I know about? You can say, what do these lines do? All of the above. And then the plan mode is going to allow you to say, hey, I want to make a plan for phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 of this Python tool. I want it to have these features, and then later I want to maybe add features and that will create a plan document which you can save to your workspace over here. There's debug mode, which will put logs under the lines in your code, and that will help you to find bugs or errors. And then we have the multitask mode, which is newer. That's going to spin off different agents to do many different things. So let's say you have a bunch of .py or Python script files over here, and you want to refactor each one. Then you would come here in the chat window and you would type something like prompt, and then to make another prompt, do 3 pipes, and then prompt to 3 pipes, and so on. And each prompt is going to spin off what's called a sub agent, and that's going to do a different task for each of those scripts. And you can get as creative as you want with that. So let's go back to the agent mode, because that's what we're working with to build this tool. So let's just get started with the prompt. The user will click. Let's just tell it what we want. I want to build a simple ArcGIS Pro Python geoprocessing tool. The user will click on the map and it will create a point and then make a 25-meter buffer zone. And you can add some styling if you want. So let's say make the buffer a transparent light orange, and hit enter, and let's see what it comes up with. So while it's doing that, it's going to give you a whole bunch of previews of what it's thinking. It's going to show you what it changed or took away. And if I go over here to my new file here, which is a PYT file, I can see all of these changes in green are additions. I used to think that I had to hurry up and read all the code and make changes and stuff, but these are not going anywhere. I can click out of, I can close cursor, and I can hit file and save, or Control S, and it will be here in the same state when I come back. Another thing you can do, quick tip, is if you don't know what any of these layers do, select the layer and then click add the chat, and then I can say, what does this do? So this is a great way to learn your code. And then it'll give you a probably way too much information, but it says that line sets the tool's first output parameter to in-memory point feature class that the tool created. And if I scroll up to my last results, I can see it gives me what the tool does, and then it gives you a quick guide on how to use it. So add it to a map, create incident zone, click the pencil icon, and then click point, and then click run. So I'm gonna go keep these changes. I'll hit the keep button. If you don't like it, you can hit the undo. I will save that, and then I'm going to open Pro. So let's start without a template. And then we want to add a new map. And I'm going to zoom into a location somewhere in the mountains. And I will go to catalog. And if you want to add your toolbox, you'll go up to the toolboxes, expand that, and then right click, add toolbox. This will open to my project folder. I'll click folders, and then let's see, is my toolbox here? So I will just go to browse to my folder, which is called incident zone, and then I can see the incident zone toolbox. Hit OK, and I will add that. It's a PYT file. The PYT file is a hard-coded Python toolbox, and the other type of toolbox is a regular toolbox. So I'll expand my PYT file, and now there's a tool called Create Incident Zone. So let's double click it to open it. And this has a browse button where I can input a point feature class, but I'm going to use the pencil to draw a point. So I will draw a point, and then I will hit run. And that's going to create my incident zone, which it is pretty small. So I'm gonna have to zoom in, and that's a 25-meter buffer. So yeah, that's how you can use Cursor AI to create a simple geoprocessing tool. Results may vary. Sometimes they take about 5 minutes, and then sometimes you have to talk to it a little more. It could take, maybe an hour to go through and tweak it. You can go ask it questions. You can build an entire toolbox this way. Hopefully that helps to streamline some of your workflows. If you would like to clean up some messy coordinates, if you have messy coordinates, you can check out my coordinate conversion app. That is chordlyapp.com, and I put the link in the description. I do plan to add options for GIS exports later, so let me know what you think, and happy mapping.